we're going to start off, I've just finished the edge triangle on this entrelac scarf. I'm using the pink so that you don't get confused by the various colors that you would normally use in the ombre yarns. This is a gorgeous scarf in the ombre yarns, but for the purposes of this I want to show you how to do this, hopefully so that you can see all the stitches. I am going to pick up 6 stitches. I have 1 on the needle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you notice that when I'm throwing, I'm actually dropping the needle. I don't normally do that, but for the purposes of this, I hold the needle here, throw it so that I don't drop the needle, and pull that up. So there's our initial stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here is 6. Now that's the first part, the first step on the square that I'm going to be doing. Now, instead of turning it around and going back and forth, what I need to do, or what I want to do, is to knit back. Now, I'm really knitting back, because when you think about it, if this is garter stitch, I will knit this row. When I turn it around in a normal garter stitch piece, I would knit back. So depending on how you call it, technically it is knitting backwards. I will be creating a purl stitch on the front. And the way I will do that is to bring my yarn forward, and I am going to come in through the back of that stitch and simply pick up a stitch from that line. In through the back and pick. In through the back and pick. And I'm supposed to just be knitting all the way back. In through the back and pick. In through the back and pick. I picked up 6, I now have 7 on my needle, and I'm going to be knitting forward. Only the first one I'm going to slip, and then I'm going to knit 4, throw my yarn to the back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'm going to slip 1, knit 1, and pass the slip stitch over. The next row I'm supposed to knit back. So again, I come from the back of the stitch and I pick. So where I was going forward and throwing, now I'm coming back and I'm picking. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so I just keep repeating that. So I'm going to, slip 1, throw my yarn back, knit 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to slip that one, knit the next one, and pass the slip stitch over. And what that is doing is it's combining, or it's attaching this square, the edge of this square, with these stitches, and in the process we're going to create the next level. So we do it again. Throw this back, and I'm going to pick 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we'll do that again. Slip 1, knit 1, 2, 3, 4, slip 1, knit 1, and pass the slip stitch over. So I still have 6 stitches. I'm keeping that constant, and these are beginning to join together. So let's just finish this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Step 1, 1, 2, 4, slip 1, knit 1, pass a slip stitch over. And when it says in the pattern to turn, this is where you start going backwards. You don't actually turn your work. Okay, this is the last one, and on the last row, you slip it, the first stitch, you knit 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the last stitch of our 6. There's slip 1, knit 1, pass this slip stitch over. Now we have 6 stitches here, and we're going to pick up 6 here for the next square. And the next square I'm going to try and demonstrate carrying the yarn in the left hand. Now we have 6 stitches here, and we're going to pick up 6 here for the next square. I usually try and scope out the stitches I'm going to use. There's 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll start with 1. Now I'm picking going forward. 2, 3, 4. I think I missed my first one, but that's okay because I can still get 6 out of this. So 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Now going back, if you're holding your yarn in the left hand, this is where you would do the opposite. Normally, as an English knitter, I would knit forward and pick back. If you were going to do this the same way, you would pick forward and then throw back. And it is a little more, for me, cumbersome. I don't know. If you would rather pick back, I showed you that the last time, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to give you both directions. This is knitting 6 back. What did I have? That must be my 6. 2, 4, 6. Okay, so at this point I slip 1, which is our pattern. Then I knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to slip that stitch, knit the next stitch, and pass that slip stitch over, which is now going to attach this next square to the edge here. And again, going back, whoops, have to get my yarn in the front so that I can throw it. Sorry. Come in through the back stitch, bring your yarn up and around, and then back down through the stitch. Okay, now I'm going to slip it. Notice the yarn is in the front. I slip it, bring the yarn to the back, and now I'm going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm picking those, and then I'm slipping and knitting and passing that slip stitch over. And once again, we put the yarn to the front, and we're going to throw it to pick back, or excuse me, to knit back. And I can tell you that I've gotten a little bit better just in practicing this, and it hasn't been that long, so it's not as clumsy as I'm probably making it look. With practice, it gets much better. Okay, we're back to the front. Again, we're not turning these either way. We slip the first one, move the yarn to the back, knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We slip that one, knit the next one, pass that slip stitch over, put the yarn to the front, and knit back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is always keeping my yarn in my left hand. The next couple I'm going to show you how you can make that a little easier if you want to try it by switching the yarn from hand to hand. For this we're going to still work Continental, so there's the slipped one. Move the yarn to the back, knit 1, 2, 3, 4, slip that one, knit that one, and pass the slip stitch over. Okay, at this point, if you wanted, you could switch the yarn, bring it to the front, and then, like I started to do earlier, you can pick back. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you'd switch your yarn back to your left hand, but you'd bring it in the front because you want to be slipping that first stitch, bring the yarn to the back, and knit the next 4, 2, 3, 4. You slip that one, knit that one, and pass the slip stitch over. Now to pick back, you change the yarn in your hand, bring it forward, and pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we move your arm back to the left hand. We'd slip that first stitch with the yarn in front, move it to the back, and then knit 1, 2, 3, 4, and because this is the last stitch that you're joining up with this square, we're not going to technically turn at the end where the pattern calls for you to turn. Slip this one over, and now you're set up again to do the next square.